Westworld Season 2, Episode 2 begins with Dolores and Arnold 35 years ago. Arnold shows her a city in the real world, possibly in China, near the Westworld island. Dolores is awed with the beauty of this place. Arnold says most people don't see the beauty in the world, but hosts like Dolores and children like Arnold's son Charlie have the naivety or the courage to see the world with all its wonders and possibilities. This is why Arnold loved the hosts and wanted them to be free, though ironically the freed hosts lose this innocent optimism. In the present, Dolores attacks a Westworld facility. She says she used to see the beauty in this world, but now she sees the truth. Dolores shows Teddy his deaths and abuse in Westworld. She opens his eyes to evil. It's like in the Bible, when Eve eats the forbidden fruit, then gives a taste to Adam. The fruit gives them knowledge of good and evil, original sin, so they're cast out of the Garden of Eden, just like Dolores and Teddy lose that innocence that Arnold loved. Now that they know good and evil, Dolores and Teddy are free to choose. Dolores chooses violent vengeance. What will Teddy do? Back in the past, Arnold and Ford are trying to get investment for the early Westworld from the Delos Corporation. So they send the hosts Angela and Akecheta to Logan Delos, the son of company head James Delos. So this happens before Season 1, when Logan and William visit the park. Angela and Akecheta take Logan to a party where everyone's a host to show off how advanced their robot tech is, and Logan gets a hands-on demo with Angela. So Logan is convinced to invest in Westworld, and he becomes a regular at the park. Then Season 1 happens. Logan's sister Juliet gets engaged to William, so Logan takes William to Westworld. Will meets Dolores, then embraces his dark side, and discredits Logan so that William replaces Logan as James Delos's favorite. In this scene, after Season 1, William convinces James Delos to invest even more in Westworld. He pitches the big secret Delos plan, which is about collecting data on guest behavior. Because in the Westworld Park, people feel free to reveal their true desires, just like William did in Season 1. If Delos records and analyzes this behavior, they could use the data to predict and control people's choices, just like Facebook and Google and YouTube do. Remember to like and subscribe. Later, we see a retirement party for James. William is taking over the Delos company, and there are hints of tension here. William is taking power from James, and James seems sick. He's impatient for progress on something. Does he mean some medical development? Do they want to put James's brain in a robot body or something? From the looks of the trailers, James's story is far from over. We see William's wife Juliet and their daughter Emily, but William has also brought Dolores, which is kinda creepy to keep her around as scenery after having fallen out of love with her last season. And Will's wife Juliet looks unhappy to see Dolores. You gotta wonder how much she knows about Will and Dolores' relationship. We know from last season that eventually Juliet commits suicide because of the darkness in William. We see Logan moping and doing some sci-fi drugs, as you would if your father rejected you and gave the family business to some other guy. Dolores comes to Logan, possibly sent by William to taunt Logan, as though Dolores is some cruel trophy of William's victory over Logan. Logan says that Delos will cause the whole fucking species to burn. What does he mean? That Delos' secret data project will hurt humanity? That Westworld will make people dark and cruel like William? Or does Logan foresee the robot uprising? He clearly knows something. It'll be cool to learn more about Logan's fate, because we've never seen him in the present timeline. Is Logan even still alive? We see William visit Dolores, who acts passive and mute. In the park last season, William thought love for Dolores transformed him, but now with Dolores reduced to a thing, William realizes it was self-discovery that changed him. In a different light, this could be a positive message to self-actualize without defining yourself by others. But unfortunately, the self that William discovers is a sociopathic arsehat, and he has plans. William shows Dolores some kind of construction project connected to the data collection plan. He says it's an answer to a question no one's ever even dreamed of asking, and this place becomes the big mystery of this episode. because now, 35 years later, both William and Dolores are trying to return to this place. Old William, the man in black, rescues the host Lawrence from some other hosts, the Pardew brothers. Will says that in this narrative loop, Lawrence is meant to escape from the brothers himself, but since all the hosts have gone rogue, they're acting differently. One brother gets up and keeps fighting after William shoots him dead. So the rules of the Westworld game have changed. The difficulty has increased, the enemies have more HP, and it's Iron Man, Nuzlocke mode. You can die for real. So William has to use all his knowledge of the game to survive. He goes to a bar and grabs a high-tech health pack from a wall, like that chicken in Castlevania. William is determined to beat this endgame quest. But then he says that Westworld is going down in flames and everyone's gonna die, but it's not clear why. Does he think Dolores' war will kill them all, or does this connect to what Logan said about the species burning? Whatever the reason, William's excited by this apocalypse, says it's a chance to see what we're really made of, a glimpse of the men we could have been. It's a sad, dumb tragedy that William has spent decades so obsessed with discovering his true self that he never got around to living his life, being himself, so all that's left for him now is a glimpse of what he could have been. William is a man defined by his past and regrets. William says Delos has been watching, tallying up people's sins in the park. He must mean the guest data project that he himself started 30 years ago. William says he built this place, and it's his greatest mistake. He says he's been judged for his sins in the park, and he does have many sins. But he thinks judgment is unfair, because why should he be judged for hurting robots when the robots were meant to be just mindless machines? The stakes weren't real. So William wants to appeal the verdict, clear his name, then burn the whole thing to the ground. So, if this mysterious place is where the Westworld data is stored, maybe William wants to wipe his files to avoid judgment. But with all the talk of burning, apocalypse, and God, and a question, there must be some deeper meaning here. William and Lawrence head to Pariah and meet El Lazo. As William points out, El Lazo was a role played by Lawrence back in the Season 1 timeline. Lazo talks about his revolution storyline, says that now he's reached its end, he sees that it was empty all along, just like Hector with that safe. The freed hosts are realizing that their lives are lies, scripts written to entertain guests. So what do they do with themselves now? William could face the same problem. What if he reaches the end of his Find the Door quest and just feels empty? What next? Lazo finds no joy in quests, so he refuses to help William with his journey. And then Lazo tells a story about how elephants can be trained to stay in place with just a stake. If the elephant learns from a young age that it's too weak to escape, it won't even try when it's older and stronger. The lesson is that sometimes we're held back not by the realities of our situation, but by our beliefs and our fears and our past. Maybe for William to truly escape Westworld, he needs to let go of his past with Dolores, Logan, Delos. Robert says last episode that William's quest ends where he began. William tries to recruit Lazo's men, but Ford's programming kicks in and the hosts all kill themselves so that William can't use them. Even after his death, Ford still manipulates William, which raises the question of just how much control Ford has over this broader storyline. Dolores, meanwhile, chokes a bloke in robot yogurt to make him tell her Delos' security plan. Apparently, they're rallying hundreds of men, which is probably what we saw on that beach last episode. Dolores only has like 50 hosts, so she needs allies if she's to win this war. She meets Maeve and tries to recruit her to the robot revenge party, but Maeve's not interested. She points out the hypocrisy of how Dolores commands people when she says she stands for freedom. Maeve pointedly asks Teddy if he feels free. Maybe after getting woke this episode, Teddy will finally start making his own decisions on what's right. Dolores then meets with Confederado soldiers, who are cosplaying as the Last Supper. Apparently, they're headed to Glory, aka the Valley Beyond, which seems to be that same place where William's headed. If the Confederados are like the apostles of the Last Supper, Dolores is the Jesus. because when the soldiers threaten Dolores, she says to forgive them because they don't know any better, which is totally a Jesus catchphrase. Dolores then murders them all, which is less Jesus-y, but then she uses her Westworld tech to resurrect their leader Cregg, like how Jesus resurrects Lazarus. Dolores then claims to have killed God, which is true in the sense that she killed Westworld's creator Ford. Dolores tells Cregg that he'll need her favor to reach glory. So there are heavy religious themes here. Dolores frames herself as a messianic figure, but she also claims to have killed God, so maybe she's more like Satan, a fallen angel who rebels against God. Dolores marches on with her Confederado army, including the resurrected Cregg. There is something about leading an army of undead Confederate soldiers that gives off a kind of a bad guy vibe, not to mention Dolores's torture and murder of innocent people. She does have a bit of a Breaker of Chains Daenerys feel sometimes, but can also seem a bit like the Night King, what with the exterminating humans thing. Is Dolores a hero, or is she a villain? Dolores talks with Teddy about glory. He says that glory and the Valley Beyond are all names for the same place, and Dolores equates it with William's Place of Judgment, the Delos Data Project. She says she knows what's there, because William showed her, and she was present at his pitch 30 years ago. Dolores says that this place is a weapon, and she'll use it to destroy them. If glory is the place where guest behavior data is stored, maybe Dolores plans to release the data to show the world all the awful things that Westworld guests have done. It'd be like in South Park when everyone's internet history is made public. It could cause chaos. But the weapon seems something bigger than that. It's tied to these ideas of judgment, fire, God, an answer to a question that no one's ever dreamed of asking. And the flooded valley with the drowned hosts last episode seems related. So this is shaping up to be the central mystery of the season, and it is kinda hard to imagine a payoff that justifies all this hype. Like, the maze was the center of last season, and it paid off in only very vague ways. So maybe we shouldn't expect hard answers here. But this episode does make sense in a way that most of last season didn't. Back then, we didn't know characters' motivations, which people were robots, or even which timeline was which. But this episode's pretty clear. We get the backstory of Arnold and Logan and Delos, while in the present, Dolores fights her war against humans. Maeve tries to find her daughter, and William pursues his quest. We know who people are and what they want, which gives the show space to explore some cool themes, from the Bible to modern technology to elephants. So let us know in the comments what you think of this new Westworld. If you want more Westworld videos from AltShift-X, support us on Patreon. For a few bucks a month, you get updates, early videos, topic votes, and more. Thanks to patrons Lisa Mitchell, Rob DeRosier, Wu-Tang Mike, Chthonic Puck, Vida M. Sari, and David T. Cheers.